Good evening, friends. Today we have discussed one of the most important topic with respect to the industrial chemistry. Today's session is going on with the online mode. Let us discuss with the basic introduction of the fertilizer topic. Today we have to discuss the topic about is a fertilizer, which is part of the industrial chemistry at the semester 5. Now we have to discuss about the basic syllabus, which is regarding with the exam point of view, which is most important. What we have to learn. Basically, we have to understand the general introduction of fertilizer, why this topic is important, how we have to create generate a fertilizer, basic definition. Into that, we have to discuss the basic definition of fertilizer and the basic need of the fertilizer which is required, why we have to use. Next point is classification of fertilizer and the necessity and the requirement of the good fertilizer. We have to discuss again of the manufacture of some natural or synthetic fertilizers, and last point which is discuss about the introduction of the fertilizer. Let's start one by one. As you know, the fertilizer, as the global human population is concerned, is going human population is continuously going on, but as the fertile land the continuously decreases. So in that point of view, we have to require maximum amount of crop yield with the less time, as well as in the less amount of land. So with for that we have to require some chemicals or some supplements for the soil, as well as the some we have to use we have to use for the crop. So basically, first we have to discuss about what is meant by fertilizer. The fertilizer, as a definition point of view, we have to discuss a fertilizer, any material which is maybe it may be synthesized, it may be naturally obtained into the nature, any material which natural or synthetic origin that can be applied to the soil as well as for the crop to grow a plant very easily, which is essential part of the plant. So, as per the different types of classification of the fertilizers take place, physical appearance one of the part of the classification. According to the physical appearance, the basic fertilizer divided into the three parts, which are they? First part is a granular, second part is a powder, third part is liquid. So granular, which is designated into the scratched into the soil, and it is easily water soluble. Next type of fertilizer with respect to physical mode is a powder. It is made by the powder-like material. It is amorphous material. It is easily soluble into the water, and it can be easily applicable to the soil. Third part is a liquid mode. The liquid mode fertilizer, these are the very much concentrated fertilizers which is mixed with the water, initially which is mixed with the water, and then we have to apply it with the applied into the soil as well as for the crop. Okay, so according to this we have to discuss first 2 points, which is what is the meaning of fertilizer and what is the basic formula type of fertilizer according to the physical mode. Look at this carefully. Here the classification is divided is different with this is the single classification with respect to the physical form. Now we have to further discuss the classification with respect to the chemical formula, classification of fertilizer with respect to the element which is present. We have to discuss in the next slide also. Now the second point, it is necessity and the requirement of the good fertilizer. As you know, the any ideal for a condition which is always not available, but we have to try to make a synthesize or try to make a correlate our product with respect to the ideal condition. So with respect to this, first point is the nutrient element must be present into the your fertilizer. For example, if you think about the urea, in the urea we have to require a nitrogen as a fertilizer. So we have to whatever we have to synthesize the fertilizer, in that there is an always presence of the nitrogen. It is must or it is mandatory. The next point is it is made a fairly soluble in the water, so that truly mixed with the water. You know, the during the crop development of the crop, we have to require the water is only one solvent. So your fertilizer is always maximum show the maximum solubility into the water. Next point of necessity is it should be not injurious to the plant. It is easily available, abundance and cheaper. It is one of the most important part. It must be stable so that it is available for longer time and for the growing of the plant. It should not alter the pH of the soil. This is one of the most important point, students. You have to consider that I repeated it again. It should not alter the pH of the soil. Why? If the alter the pH of soil, the soil should be acidic. Due to using of the fertilizer, it is not this fertile land get converted into the non-fertile land. Already we are suffering from the less amount of fertile land. So with respect to using a fertilizer, this problem should maybe arise, getting more complicated. So that this point is most important during the synthesis of the fertilizer or the using of the fertilizer. You have to must check the pH of the soil. By next point is by rain or water, it should be converted into its form, which is plant can be easily absorbed. Now we have to take one of the example with respect to human beings. Every human beings require a iron deficiency, so that's why we have to taking a tablet or eating a apple like material. But we have to not chewing any iron containing material directly, which is not useful for us because our body is not accepting this such type of iron in our body. Similarly, the plants are also have a definite pattern, definite type of the chemicals are absorbed by plants. So we have to require a such type of fertilizer which is easily absorbed by the plant. You have to understand this point clearly. I hope you have to understand this point clearly. It should not provide all the nutrients. It should be provide all the nutrients necessary for the growth of the plant. Okay. Now this is all points are correlated to the necessity and the requirement of the good fertilizer. Now after the discussing of this good fertilizer, we have to discuss the essential nutrient plants. As we know, uh, the plants require three different types of nutrients. First is a micronutrients, second is a macronutrients, third one is essential, but not we have not applied directly. So first we have to discuss the macronutrients. What is it? It says macro. Macro means maximum or more. It required in a more quantity. It is called as a macronutrients. Micronutrients means there is a requirement is very small amount, and essential but not applied with those materials which already present into the soil. These basically three criteria. Let's discuss one by one. Macronutrients. What are the macronutrients? First is nitrogen, NPK, like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, and sulfur, calcium. These are the six elements are most widely useful into the fertilizer, and which is essential for the building block material for the development of the plant, crops or plant. First, nitrogen. If you clearly observe the chart, we have to understand the nitrogen, the basic symbol of the nitrogen, molecular weight of the nitrogen, and the nitrogen which is present into the nature into the form of nitrate and ammonium type ammonia, and the percentage of that it is 4%. It is one of the best example of the nitrogen containing fertilizer is urea. Do you know the how many percentage of nitrogen present into urea? A standard percentage is almost 44 to 46%. Okay, let's discuss another macronutrient which is the phosphorus. The phosphorus also which is useful for the building block material, and it is present into the phosphorus pentoxide, hydrogen phosphate, hydrogen phosphate, and other different parts. So potassium which is present into the K plus potassium chloride or sodium like material which is present in the basic salt like material. Magnesium which is present also Mg plus 2 form means, and sulfur which is present in a SO4 minus sulfur dioxide form. Calcium which is present to calcium oxalate, calcium sulfate, like this. Okay, we have to clear cut observe the percentage of the these macronutrients. Now we have to discuss about the micronutrients. Micronutrients which are required in a less quantity, but it is also equally important with respect to the macronutrients. Which are they? First is iron, second is magnesium, zinc, copper, boron, molybdenum, chlorine. These are required not more as compared with the macronutrients. These are not required. The requirement of these macronutrients is quite less, and essential but not applied. These are the carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. These molecules. These are the molecules are always present into the soil. So that's why we have to not apply it externally. Okay. After the brief discussion with the essential nutrient elements, we have to discuss one by one in detail. So first, micro fertilizer point is nitrogen. So we have to know that the soil in the nature there is a one of the cycle which is called as a nitrogen cycle, and the nitrogen which is present into the air, which is how much amount? It is 78% of nitrogen which is present into the air, but the plant cannot absorb this atmospheric nitrogen easily. So that's why it is essential to convert this nitrogen into the easiest absorbing form. So for that, nature gives us two bacteria to us, which is azotobacter and rhizobium, which are give convert this nitrogen which is present into the air, and it convert into the simplest form which where the plant can absorb. The azotobacter and rhizobium it plays an important role into that nitrogen cycle. Second part is soil nitrification, decomposition of the organic matter. When any organic matter it decompose, after the decomposition, it can emits the some nutrients. Into that, there is a nitrogen, the most important, into the form of ammonia as well as the nitrate. Okay. Now let's see the another part of discussion of the next element, which is nitrogen function of the plant. Now we have to understand how the nitrogen is present into the nature and how it fixates into the soil by using a bacillobacter bacteria. Now the ratio, the carbon nitrogen ratio is one of the important fact. Due to the proper carbon nitrogen ratio, the plant growth of the plant is in the limit. If the carbon nitrogen ratio is a maximum towards the maximum side, the over reproduction take place, and the lower side, the plant should be more vegetative. So we have to require a definite quantity of carbon and nitrogen into the soil. It is most important factor. Now we have to discuss about the deficiency and toxicity of the symptoms. Deficiency is what? Reduce the growth of plant, yellowing of the old leaves. You have to observe into the nature, and even in your farms also. Some of the crop get this leaves are get converted into the yellowish form. So it clearly indicates that there is a deficiency of nitrogen, and toxicity is a dark leaves. This is problem arises with respect to the deficiency of nitrogen. So how which type of nitrogen we have to use? There is a three different types of fertilizers are mostly present into the market, which are the ammonium nitrate, calcium nitrate, potassium nitrate, and the urea. As previously discussed, the urea have a richest source of the nitrogen, maximum the 46% of nitrogen. What is the meaning of 46%? For example, if you take 100 grams of nitrogen, 100 grams of urea, in that there is a 46 grams of the nitrogen is present. So already we have to give the 46% of the nitrogen to the plant. Okay. Now if you clearly observe the nitrogen deficiency, here we have to give one of the example how the nitrogen deficiency take place due to the presence. Look at this plant. If the nitrogen deficiencies take place, there is a yellowing of this leaves. We have to uh, observe. Now next micro elements is the phosphorus. The phosphorus and the calcium, these two molecules are most important, sorry, these two elements are most important because these are the preparing the structure of the crop. So soil, what is the soil relation and the plant function of the phosphorus component, which are present in nucleic acid like DNA and RNA coenzyme, high energy of phosphate bonds, deficiency and toxicity of the phosphorus is most mobile in a plant tissue, deficiency which requires a darkness, purplish color, and older leaves. Okay. On the which type of fertilizers we have to use for the source of phosphorus are the single superphosphate and triple superphosphate. In that single superphosphate, almost phosphorus present into the 8.6% to 9% almost, and triple superphosphate the phosphorus percentage is 20%. Okay. Now next element is a potassium. The potassium is a soil relationship. We have to discuss the soil relationship, plant function, deficiency, toxicity, and fertilizer. Again, the potassium is one of the basic element which is required for the fertilizer. So which activates more enzyme, regulates the water movements across the membrane to the stromata, and due to the deficiency of potassium, leaf margin necrosis leaf necrosis means the synchronizing of the leaves take place, and it continuously shrinking is going on, and then due to that the chlorophyll, by using of the chlorophyll, whatever the photosynthesis has been take place, the quantity of the photosynthesis decreases, then formation of the glucose conversion it is decreases, so the crop not produces maximum yield. So the potassium is used in the form of potassium chloride, potassium sulfate, potassium nitrate. Now next, in the next slide, we have to observe that the macronutrient deficiency of the micronutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium deficiency take place. Now in the left hand side, we have to observe the control sample, which is standardly growth by the proper elements which are present like NPK. It is supplemented by the very definite manner, but due to the now next leaves you have to observe it is a deficiency of nitrogen. Second, which is deficiency of phosphorus. Third is a deficiency of potassium. If some of the plants have deficiency of NPK, it totally reduced. The size decreases. It converts into the greenish to yellowish form, and necrosis also observed. Now, next part we have to discuss in the next discussion. First, we have to understand whatever we have to discuss. We have to carry a brief summary. Today, we have to understand what is the need of the topic of the fertilizer, why we have to study it, and what is the importance into the market as well as our syllabus point of view. Then we have to general classification according to physical mode of operation, and we have to discuss the macronutrients, micronutrients, and essential elements, and we have to discuss importance of the every element like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and its deficiency as well as its application. Thank you.